Hey guys! Welcome to an OpenLM presentation. Today we'll see how to get notified by OpenLM, and we'll also see how OpenLM allows you to control your license usage. So first of all, thank you all for joining me. I hope this webinar will be informative. You'll learn something about OpenLM that you might not have known. So let's get right to it. What are we going to talk about today? So first of all, we'll talk about the Applications Manager. We'll see how it helps us to control license checkouts. We'll take a look at the Alerts Management and see how OpenLM can notify you when certain criteria are met. We'll also take a look at the End User Notifications and Options File Management. Now, before I start, I just want to show you in a general schema the structure of OpenLM. So you probably got the OpenLM, the license server, which holds many different vendors on it. You might have like MATLAB, Autodesk, CATIA, whatever. Now you might have many license servers, but on each one, you'll simply need to install an OpenLM broker, which will transmit information to a central OpenLM server, which can be viewed from any device. You can use any device, any browser, to view the licensing information and all the different reports OpenLM has to offer. Now, some of the extensions that we'll see today also require the OpenLM agent to be installed, which sits on the workstations themselves. This can be rolled out using SCCM, using GPO. So let's dive right in. What are we talking about today? We'll start with the basics. Basically, you want to get notified by OpenLM. You want to make OpenLM just a bit more automatic. You would like OpenLM to sense certain criteria. You want it to sense when stuff happens, and you want to get notified. So for that, we have the Alerts Management extension. Now, if we click Start, Administration, and go to Alerts Management, then we'll be able to see all the different alerts that we can set. Now, before we go over those, we see that this information can be sent via email, via SMS, just to show as an application alert, create an event log, or run a broker command. For example, you can, if the server is down, then you can try and run it and start it. Or if it's down, you can get an email or an SMS, whatever you choose. But what are the conditions besides license server is not responding? What other conditions do we have? So first of all, pretty self-explanatory. If the license server, the license manager is not responding, then you can get notified about it. Now this helps you keep track of your system. Usage percentage over 90%. Let's say that you want to know when a license is stressed, when it's about to be maxed out, meaning that you got 100 licenses. If the concurrent usage goes over 90%, then let me know. But of course that you can set it to be whatever you choose, even 95%, 99%, whatever you choose. You can get notified when there's a duplicate license being used. Now, what does that mean? Let's say that I try to get an AutoCAD license. Well, I don't get denied, I take the license, but I'm taking another license. I'm checking out another license for another instance of my AutoCAD, of my MathWorks, doesn't matter. I'm using twice on the same machine for the same user. And you can set that, you can define what you mean by duplicate license usage. So you can define its related licenses on a single workstation, meaning under the same package, under the same workstation, the same license, maybe under multiple workstations, maybe under the same user. You can define what you mean by duplicate license usage. Now you can get notified, and he can also get notified. The user doing the infraction can also get notified. He can get an email saying that, hey, please do not pull two licenses, do not check out two licenses of AutoCAD at the same time. And you can get notified on it, meaning the admin. Now, this is a pretty safe one, a pretty one that everybody wants. Everybody is asking for this alert. It's kind of the basic alert that everybody needs. You get notified when a license is about to expire. So here it's 14 days, but you can set it to be whatever you want. Let's say that your license is about to expire, so you don't need to check the lists every day. You just get notified by the OpenLM system. You get it to your email saying that, hey, AutoCAD is about to expire. Renew the license. That's a pretty nifty condition. That's a nice alert that you can set for yourself, and I've seen all users set this alert. Now, users with no default group or project, that requires a bit more explanation. Let's say that you got everybody grouped. You have OpenLM connected to your Active Directory or your options files. You have all the users in OpenLM. So if OpenLM senses that someone checked out a license which is not under a group, is not under a project, then you can get notified because that's unauthorized usage. Who is using that? Who got the license? Might be that it's a new user and doesn't have a user yet, but you'd want to get notified about these infractions. Now, usage period, again, pretty self-explanatory. You can define the amount of time for you to get notified on, meaning that if the session, any session, if it's not borrowed, of course, if a session goes over, here it's 600, meaning 10 hours, but if it goes over like 10 hours, then notify me because that user is misusing the license. Can't be that he's working so much. You can set it up to a full day, and if you see that a full day of usage means that that license is on his workstation, he's not there, he's not working 24 hours. And maximum number of denials in a period of 30 minutes, you can define. It's self-defined. You can define the maximum number of denials for a period of an amount of minutes. Why is that good? Why should we want that? Let's say that the license server is up and the license is not expired yet. Everything seems to be good with the license manager. It should work, but it doesn't. Users start getting denied. Then something's wrong with that server. So you'd want to get notified because you got all your users trying to get a license but getting denied. So might be that there's a license manager that's messing up. Maybe a license server that's stuck. Maybe it's just a feature everybody's getting denied from because something about the license is misconfigured. Doesn't matter what it is, it tells you that, hey, there's a problem with the system. People are now getting denied. In loads, they're getting denied. Okay, so this is for the admin. These are admin alerts, but as I said, they can also go to the end user himself, meaning that you can notify yourself, but you can also notify the involved user. So if someone is using for too long, if someone is using a duplicate license, everything that involves another user, you can also notify him automatically. Okay, But what else? What else do we have here? We want to get notified. We want to make OpenLM a bit more automatic. How do we do that? Besides having OpenLM alert you on many things, you can have OpenLM send you reports. You can have reports be scheduled to send to you directly. It's sent to you to your email. You can send it, you can schedule it to your managers, you can schedule it to your auditing organization, just about anyone. So basically, if we go to any report in OpenLM, let's just open up, well, let's say license usage report. Let's select a feature. And now we'd want to schedule it. So we'll just select that just for a test. And we would want to schedule it. So we simply click share. We can share it by a link here, or we can share it by email. But we can also schedule it. Once we click on that, we can of course give it a name and choose who we want to send it to. So we can just add an email if you want. We can add a group of users or just the users themselves. Now you can schedule it to be sent. Let's say you want a Sunday report. You want a report at the end of each Sunday. You want it at Monday morning. You want the report ready in your inbox. So you can have that. Maybe your boss is asking every week for the same report or every day for the same report, and you need to send it to him. So it will be sent automatically. You don't have to do that. We automate OpenLM more and more for you to be free for other things. Okay, I'm going to stop for a moment just to tell you that if you have any questions, you want to know something, maybe I glossed over something that you want a bit more information about, then please ask. Please use the questions box. The GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar has a small questions box, like a chat box that you can use. If you have any questions, just go ahead and ask. Once I avert my eyes and see the question, I'll be able to answer once I finish my sentence. Okay, but what else? Okay, we saw that OpenLM can alert me on different criteria when they are met. Cool. We saw that it can schedule different reports. It can schedule a report to be sent to me. But what else? Well, we can control usage. You can control the checkouts themselves, meaning that, let's say you don't want users to use outside their working hours, you can do that. Let's say you want groups of users to only be able to use a certain license, then you can do that. Maybe you want people to only use a certain version. Maybe you want the users to only use a certain version of a certain application. So let's say we got a deal of 2019. So you can define that no one can take any version previous of version 2019 because you got a better deal on that version. So let's see how we can do that. We have two options. First of all, we have the options file management, which is called the OpenLM allocation manager as well. Now it edits options files. Now for those of you who don't know what is an options file, options file is a FLEXlm file which allows for editing allocations for users, meaning you allocate certain amount of licenses or features to a certain amount of users. You can reserve licenses to users, either groups of users, hosts of users, IPs of users, or just users. You can include them, you can exclude them, you can prevent them from borrowing a license. You can do many things in order to affect how they can check out, when they can check out licenses, why and how. So OpenLM allows you to edit that file real easy, because this is it's textual file. You see, it's a text file, and when it's like 4 or 5 rows long, no problem. But some options file I've seen get to maybe 10 kilobytes of just plain text, 20 kilobytes of just plain text. That's a lot of text. I've seen a lot of different features, groups, users. The problem is that it's very prone to error, because a user writes that, a data analyst simply types all the different rows, groups, users, everything. It types them in manually. Then it's very prone to error, and it happens. It happens a lot. And not to talk about the fact that this user, this admin, sorry, the data analyst, has to work constantly on maintaining those options files. So one options file, well, that's not a big issue, but let's say you got 100, then you want something to help you sort it out, all the mess. So the OpenLM interface allows you to do just that. You can modify the options file itself. For example, we can choose a certain feature, and we can add a certain user to it, and we say that it's included or excluded from getting a license, or maybe want to reserve 2 licenses for that user. Now, once we save, and if we deploy it, then yeah, we need to change the read-only, no problem. But if we deploy it, then it will change the options file itself. It will push the changes from this machine, from the OpenLM server machine, to the license server itself. This allows you to know what you're doing, to see the interface, to see exactly how many users and which users you've got within each feature. Here you'll have all the different servers, and all the different configurations will be pulled from this file into the interface. Now, this is one way that you can control your usage. You can decide who gets a license, when, where, and why. But this is only for FLEXlm applications. Let's say that you're interested in a DSLS managed application, or an RMS managed application, maybe LMX, anything else. Maybe even you're referring to a standalone application which does not even have a floating license. So any type of application, as long as it has a process running on the end user workstation, then we can define the applications manager. If we go to administration, applications manager, then we can define different applications and their rule set. Now let me show you. This is AutoCAD, for example. Let's say that you got a feature, you got a vendor that tells you, okay, you bought 20 licenses, but if you'll need 21 licenses, if the 21st user tries to get the license, then he won't get denied. He will get the license, but you will pay dearly for that license. You will pay double, you will pay triple for that license. This way, you can get like double the cost on licenses that you didn't really want people to use. So you can have the applications manager simply block users from getting those licenses. For example, I can cap it at, well, I'll cap it at 0 for now, so I'll get totally denied. But if it was at 20 and I had currently 20 users using and I'm the 21st user, then I would get denied. So let's try and see that in action. So I try to get an AutoCAD application, but I get denied. It tells me that license limit is reached because this is set to 0. Now, let's say that, well, you don't care about that. Your vendor doesn't extend your licenses. Once it goes up to 20 or the amount of licenses you have, then users just get denied, just like any normal floating license. Well, then you can define different consumption rules. Clicking on the consumption rules right here, I will be able to see that I have a rule set, a rules table here, which allows me to set different conditions for allowing or denying the application from being opened. So let's take an example here. If the time is after 10 o'clock and the application is an Autodesk application and the version of it is 2017 and the username is this one and the workstation in this one and it's from that group, then allow or deny. Now you can string this however you'd like. For example, you can define to prevent everybody from using 2017. You deny them from getting 2017, 2016, they will only be able to get 2019. Now you can assign different groups to different applications. For example, if you got a group that's supposed only to be using Autodesk, then you can prevent them from putting a SolidWorks license, for example. You can set up a time zone, so users will only be able to pull the licenses, to check out licenses in their own time zone. For example, you can say that if it's not within your time zone and you're under that group of that time zone, then I'll deny your usage. If you are, then you'll be allowed. But let's try to see that in action. So it's after 10 o'clock. I will try to pull an Autodesk license from this workstation, demo v4. So let's try and do that. And you see that I get denied. So it tells me that access denied due to the normal USA working hours rule. Now the normal USA working hours rule, it's this one. It's exactly the one I got denied from. So this way, you'll be able to set like a rule map of allowed and denied licenses and define who gets what, where, when, and why. And that's about it for me. I think that we've seen enough for today. I really don't want to overload you with information. I thank you very, very much for joining me on this webinar today. I hope that you learned something about OpenLM that you didn't already know. I will stay here for the next 5 to 10 minutes to answer any questions if you have. Just use the OpenLM, the GoToWebinar questions box. Just type it in, I'll be happy to answer. But if you don't have any questions, then I would thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you on the next webinar. Bye. Okay, I see we have a question about the report scheduler. So the report scheduler is a free extension. You just go to the OpenLM website and just download it and install. Under our downloads page, you'll be able to find the installation file. So if you scroll down, we'll be able to see that report scheduler is here. Just download it, install, and that's it. You'll simply need to install it on the same machine as OpenLM server. Once it's finished installing, you'll simply need to restart the service, and that's it, and it runs. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. If you have any questions, you think about something later on that you want to know, then you can just log on to our website. You can just call us up, click under contact us. You can just find the number that's closest to you. Just call us up. You can also get in touch with us using the OpenLM chat. Clicking here brings you to the chat where you can contact us. And one last thing before we go is we have a new service. It's called a health check. We go live with you. We check your whole system. We see if anything is misconfigured, anything can be well configured better to get more information. If any extensions that you purchased but are not using, we'll go over all your system, give you a full health check, give you a certificate at the end, which allows you to show your manager, show the auditing organization that OpenLM approves that your system and your data is valid. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.